Trump looks to Mujtaba's nuclear ally as Iran exposes a new crisis in U.S. air defense. Trump wants to copy Putin's tactics as Iran exposes fresh holes in America's air defenses. U.S. copies Russia's air defense playbook as the Pentagon eyes S-300, S-400 style mobile radars. Russia's air defense secret goes west? U.S. turns to a new mobile radar model. Russia's S-400 inspires a U.S. revamp as Washington bets on mobile radar systems. The U.S. looked to Russia's S-300 and S-400 systems for ideas for next-generation air defense radars, according to Military Watch. The report said the Pentagon was developing more mobile radar systems after heavy losses suffered by U.S. air defenses during the Iran war. New THAAD radars could reportedly use mobile sensor platforms similar to the distributed radar architecture found in Russia's S-300 and S-400 systems. Iran destroyed more than $3 billion worth of U.S. air defense radar assets in 1 week during the conflict, according to Military Watch. Reported losses included an AN/FPS-132 radar and two THAAD AN/TPY-2 radars, with each system valued at more than $1 billion. The radar losses were reportedly serious enough to weaken U.S. and Allied awareness of incoming missiles, drones, and other aerial threats. The proposed design would allow mobile radars to detect incoming targets and transmit tracking data to separate missile launchers. The approach could move the U.S. away from traditional air defense batteries where radar, command systems, and launchers operate as a single unit. The concept reportedly mirrors Russia's networked air defense model while also aligning with the U.S. Army's integrated battle command system. Remember, the Wall Street Journal also reported that damage to U.S. military assets across the region could have reached as much as $13 billion. Another American warship is facing trouble at sea, marking a fresh setback for U.S. troops and raising concerns over deployment conditions. The amphibious assault ship USS Boxer is reportedly running short of basic supplies, echoing earlier concerns aboard the Abraham Lincoln. Anonymous family members of the Boxer crew made the allegations in a report published by Midas News, raising fresh concerns over conditions. Female crew members aboard the warship have reportedly run out of feminine hygiene products during the extended deployment. Crew members have allegedly urged their next of kin to send additional hygiene supplies from home to cover the shortages. One family member claimed sailors were desperately asking for extra pads and tampons so essential supplies could be shared. However, the families reportedly said none of the packages they sent were ever delivered to the sailors on board. The American warship left San Diego in March and reportedly reached the Middle East by late June after its long deployment. The Wasp-class amphibious assault ship has reportedly received no port call since reaching the region, limiting opportunities for resupply. The extended deployment has allegedly complicated normal resupply operations, while also affecting crew rest and rotation schedules. The Boxer is an aging warship that is already scheduled for retirement from the U.S. Navy, adding to questions over its prolonged deployment. The claims echo earlier reports of supply shortages and hygiene problems aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln, raising wider questions about Navy readiness. Reports have emerged of difficult living conditions across several U.S. naval deployments, with complaints involving food supplies, water, hygiene products, plumbing, and prolonged periods away from port. Family members and service personnel have shared accounts of living conditions across ships and other military branches, describing a recurring pattern of shortages, fatigue, and poor access to basic facilities. The latest allegations were reported by Midas Touch on August 14th, based on messages from relatives and active duty personnel. The outlet's accounts have not all been independently verified. One service member deployed alongside the USS Abraham Lincoln reportedly told Midas Touch that the reported hardships were real and reflected more than isolated frustrations from a single ship. The same service member reportedly said the issues were not restricted to the USS Abraham Lincoln, suggesting that long deployments and resupply problems may be affecting other units as well. In one message cited by the report, a service member said personnel had not seen land since deploying because of the Iran conflict, illustrating the strain of long stretches without port calls or normal rotation. Another parent said conditions aboard the carrier became progressively worse during their son's deployment, with recurring problems affecting sanitation, water access, food, and basic daily routines. The parent alleged that the ship's water system failed early in the 11-month deployment, leaving sailors unable to shower or wash clothing until the system was restored. Even after the water system was restored, the parents said showers remained tightly rationed, adding to complaints of hygiene problems and declining morale among the crew. Families say supplies repeatedly ran low and conditions worsened when resupply operations and mail deliveries were disrupted, leaving sailors short of food, toiletries, and other essentials. The parent further alleged that toilets backed up and overflowed shortly before their son left the ship, but the Navy has not publicly verified the specific circumstances described in the account. According to the unverified family message, about half a foot of human waste covered the floor of a restroom used by roughly 200 sailors, a claim that illustrates the severity of the reported sanitation crisis. A relative of another sailor claimed crew members had virtually no food, water, or soap, while other reports describe reduced meal portions and shortages of toiletries such as toothpaste, deodorant, and soap. Notably, the USS George H.W. Bush is also deployed in the Middle East as the USS Abraham Lincoln faces reports of extended deployment strain. Sailors seeking clarity from commanding officers have reportedly been told to focus on just today, a response families say has deepened uncertainty about rotation schedules, resupply, and relief plans. Some experienced sailors have reportedly described the deployment as the worst of their careers, pointing to the combination of long shifts, limited rest, supply problems, and prolonged separation from families. Not every account involved naval service, as relatives have also raised concerns about U.S. personnel deployed at bases across the Middle East during the widening regional conflict. One parent reported that their son, who is stationed in Kuwait, was in extremely poor health, though no independently confirmed medical details have been made public. Service members and relatives speaking to Midas Touch urged others to come forward with their own experiences, arguing that wider testimony is needed to force military leaders to address the alleged problems. Taken together, the accounts point to a reported pattern of exhausted troops, dwindling supplies, sanitation issues, and growing morale concerns across extended U.S. deployments linked to the Iran war.
Upgrade your news experience with the all-new HT app. Download now.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest newsmakers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Have you ever wondered what happens when a banking dynasty meets tides of world history, intrigue, and a dash of myth?
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.